What's up guys, Visual Maximus here. So with the Flash ending, I want to dissect and sort of break down what that ending really meant. As a big comic book guy, I do like to delve more into stuff like that. And with me more trying to explore the DC comics, I want to get into the stuff like this. So let's get straight into it. So looking at this actual newspaper article that Harrison Wells sort of looked at, because he's got surprisingly new about this, so his character is very intertwined with this actual article, and more towards the first point, the date, but we'll get to that him later. So the date, now the date is a thing that stands out to me the most. April 25th 2024, that's just shy of 10 years from now. So what does that indicate? Well, this actual article is from the future. Now, to just give you a bit of insight on the Flash character, now for the purposes of this actual TV series, obviously we're going to be only indicating the Barry Allen character, sorry. So for that reason, let's get to him. Now Barry Allen can actually go back, well, he can go back in time, I believe, but I know that he can time travel. At the least, I know he can time travel. So one cool theory would be that Barry Allen just sort of time traveled, and that's why he went missing. Now that's probably the easiest scenario for a comic book fan, but that's sort of just going into one context. There's many more contexts beneath that, so that could just be one. Maybe a crisis happened, maybe something bad happened, and Barry Allen used his speed force, because as we know, as of now, Barry Allen can't actually use the speed of light. That's what he can do in the comics. He's only capable of using the speed, or going at the speed of sound. So he hasn't actually got to the level of speed of light. That's when he can time travel in effect. But in 10 years, that's a very long time, and your powers can excel very much. But who knows, maybe he never got that power, so that could just not be that. Now another scenario would be Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now that's one of DC's most notorious events and one of their high profile events. Crisis on Infinite Earths is basically how a massive scale sort of war, if you will. Now Crisis in Infinite Earths could be what crisis in the title means. It could just be an Easter egg to that actual particular event. Remember, that's a big event in DC. Now, going to Flash missing and vanishes in Crisis. Now, this also intertwines to the Harrison Wells character. So Harrison Wells is the only character that knows about this. So a cool theory from moviepilot.com could suggest that Harrison Wells is Barry Allen. It kind of makes sense that there's a resemblance there. He wants to also look out for Barry Allen, make him the Flash he needs to be. Maybe he wants to sort of get him away from this, and we know that Flash can time travel and sort of get away from that. Now, the other thing would be that he's actually Professor Zoom or Reverse Flash. So Reverse Flash, as the name implies, is Flash but a Reverse Flash. He's sort of the evil Flash. Now Eobard Thawne is the Reverse Flash within the comics. Now they have cast somebody called Eddie Thawne, but that could just be a relative. Now Harrison Wells could just be a name that he sort of made up for this time, and his real name is Eddie Thawne, or maybe it's just a red herring. Maybe he is actually Professor Zoom, but then Eddie Thawne within the TV series, he sort of, after falling out with Barry Allen, he sort of trains him and makes him the Reverse Flash. Now that could be another scenario, and maybe Eddie Thawne is already a meta-human. So yeah, now looking at the picture here would suggest that Flash, the Barry Allen Flash, looks pretty much similar to the Flash that he does 10 years before. So it would indicate the Flash hasn't changed much, and he's still Barry Allen, and he's still running around as Barry Allen. So that would imply that nobody has sort of taken over the Flash mantle. It's still very much so the same person. So that would mean that Flash hasn't actually changed, and him vanishing is the exact same person. So that's kind of changed that it's not Harrison Wells. So yeah, that's another thing that it just lends another positive note that it's not Harrison Wells. Now going down to Wayne Tech / Queen Incorporated merger complete. Now we know in the Arrow TV series and within this actual Flash TV show, they're within the same universe. Queen Queen Incorporated is in the name. It's actually Queen Consolidates, which could change, who knows, or maybe it's just something straight from the comics, but I think it's Queen Consolidates in the comics. Remember, I'm not that much on the DC side, so I don't really know, but I do know my fair share of comic book lore. So that could just indicate that Wayne Tech and Queen Incorporated are the biggest two I'd say companies about right now, and that does indicate that maybe Green Arrow is still around. And another thing is Bruce Wayne's there as well, so I guess that's just another Easter egg. Now, my biggest thing with this is Flash missing and vanishes. So the biggest theory that I've heard is that maybe Eddie Thawne becomes, or Professor Zoom, however you want to say it, becomes so obsessed with Flash becoming the Flash he needs to be. Maybe he's the guy that goes back in time to killing Barry Allen's mum. That would make some sense to sort of put him onto the path that he starts to believe in the impossible. But also, if you see closely into that image, there's also the fact that there's red streaks as much as yellow streaks, and that very well could be that it could be some streak of Eddie Thawne's costume. But what else it could be is, going at that rate, I would imagine that you'd sort of see only one streak, and you see the yellow streak being the dominating factor, but also red being the key color of the Flash. It does sort of make you think, is that Flash there running as well? Because that just makes it even more further noticeable that Flash can time travel, and maybe he sort of realized that Eddie Thawne was, maybe him and Eddie Thawne had a fight, and Eddie Thawne goes back in time, Flash runs after him, they go back to this particular time, and within that time, after Flash is chasing him, he kills Flash's mum, and Flash is there witnessing, the older Flash is witnessing that. So I think Harrison Wells probably is Professor Zoom, or he has some sort of knowledgeable sort of reason to him, or maybe he's just a meta-human who can time travel and is obsessed with the Flash as a whole, and wants to get the Flash to where he is basically in 10 years and not make him vanish. Or maybe it's just an Easter egg to Crisis on Infinite Earths, or it's something much more. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Like the video, comment your thoughts and opinions, share the video, subscribe for more. Peace.